Hello, this is Brian with Vermillion Enterprises. We are open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are located at 5324 Spring Hill Drive in sunny Spring Hill, Florida. Today is March 7th, 2022. And what a kind of an interesting week last week was, and a start to the crazy week that I'm sure this week is going to be. Just in the last 12 hours, gold has gone from $2,000 open last night, Sunday night, down to I think it was 1963 this morning, and is now climbed back up to 1978. So that's gone from $2,000 an ounce to 1,963 up to 1,978. So for basically a $40 swing, and it is still very volatile. Right now, with the situation in Ukraine and inflation being what it is, gold is going to be very volatile. Whenever we have a bit of good news come out, you're going to see a drop in the price. Whether it's the Ukraine situation seems to improve a little bit, or if we have some bad piece of economical news come out of or out on the wire here, you're going to see a you're going to see a spike, or if Russia does something here that looks like they can advance their cause, we're going to see gold go up. And I was asked earlier today that it seems like gold's resistance point may be $2,000 an ounce. Possibly, but right now that I could get behind numbers like that if this was truly an organic market. This is not. This is a contrived market. This is with the war going on and with this inflation being out of control, literally at levels that I personally have never seen. This isn't, the constraints being put on this market do not make it organic or free. The paper market is heavily controlling both the price of gold and silver right now. In 2010-ish, when we went through the housing market bubble, inflation wasn't what it is today, and silver got up to $50 an ounce, and it's only $25 and something an ounce right now. That is, that shows you just how constrained that market is, and that's because it's being controlled by the paper market. I've said this, I don't know how many times on YouTube, but it's totally true. Out of all the silver traded in the world on a daily basis, less than 5% of it's physical. 95+% of it is the paper market, and it's an unlimited market. It's not a constrained market in the sense that there's a finite number of paper contracts. They can write them as many of them as they want, and they don't have to have the metal to back it. So right now they are severely keeping the price of silver down. Gold is making some movements. That's because, in my opinion, the national banks are investing heavily in physical gold right now because of inflation and the fear of war, like real war, happening throughout the world. So they want to get their wealth out of whatever currency that they had, paper fiat currency, into physical gold. And that's always been the thing that countries have done, right? So there's always a bigger demand for gold than there is silver, at least physically, because national banks stock it. The U.S. isn't stocking silver. J.P. Morgan and Chase, Jamie Dimon, those guys stock physical silver, and that's why they control the paper market the way that they do. So if you don't know who Jamie Dimon is, go and do a 2-second Google research, and you'll find out who he is and what he's done and what he's capable of. But I think we're going to get a lot of questions today. People coming in: should I buy gold right now? Should I invest in it? Should I invest in silver? And right now, and even though that gold is really high, it's been higher, but still we're near the $2,000 mark. That's substantially higher than most throughout the history of the world, what it's been. It's touched that and gone over a little bit, then came back down. Now we're kind of in a different boat with inflation and the war going on. We don't know. The war could end tomorrow. And if it did, you'll see a plummet in prices, just because that's great news, the economic relief. But the war could draw out for 2 years. There could be a nuclear strike. If that happens, you'll see gold and silver probably at record levels. So should you invest in it? Well, I'm going to say yes, but probably not for any of those reasons. Right now, there is a run on the banks. And even though this isn't being documented here in the United States, it's clearly being documented in Europe right now and Asia. They are running out of money. The banks are running out of money to give you. Of course, they have their reserves, right? But cash money that you can use to spend, they are running out of. A story that we had happen literally in my shop last Wednesday, I think it was. A gentleman came in to buy silver. We're a cash-only store. We do accept wires, but it's either cash or wires. And he uses Fifth Third Bank, which is a pretty big bank in the scheme of things, and they had no cash to give him. They literally, for him to withdraw cash, the biggest note that they had were $5 bills. So he got a bundle of $5 bills from the bank, because that's all they had, and that's what they could give him out of his savings account or checking account, and that's what he came in here and bought silver with. And that's frightening, that a bank only has $5 bills. So in these other banks, they'll tell you, we can get you the cash. Say you want to withdraw even $5,000. It'll take us a week or 10 days to get the cash. This is what's literally happening. And that's not every bank, but that's a lot of banks. And that's terrifying, because at the end of the day, $5,000 in the banking industry is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And for them not to have that cash on hand to where they can just give their customer, their actual customers, people that have accounts with them, money, that $5,000, that's frightening, because $5,000 doesn't really go very far anymore in this world. And for them not to have that, even if it were 20s, they just don't have it, let alone in hundreds or 50s. So it's the reason why I suggest buying gold right now is to protect yourself against that situation where the banks are not going to be allowing you to have access to your cash. There's something in this country called the FDIC, Federal Deposits Insurance, whatever. And they insure accounts up to $250,000, which you think is great, right? If there's ever a hack or a loss in whatever way, hey, my account up to $250,000 is covered. Well, okay, that's great. The FDIC has somewhere, it floats between like 25 and $40 billion in backup funds. Well, in the banking industry, that's nothing when there's $8 to $9 trillion of deposited assets in the banking industry. So if there was ever a catastrophic loss to the banking industry, that money in the FDIC is going to be soaked up like that. And you know that there are certain people who are going to have access to those funds before the common guy living in Spring Hill, Florida is ever going to see any of those reserves. So you think about that. They have $25 to $40 billion, but that $25 to $40 billion reserve is to cover $8 to $9 trillion of deposited assets. That's like the silver market, right? So they write all these contracts that say that you own this silver, all this paper silver that doesn't exist, right? But there's only 5 to 10% of that physical silver out there to actually cover it. So it's the same, basically, Ponzi scheme, if you will, and it's frightening. So that is the bigger reason why right now I suggest people buy gold and silver, physical gold and silver, not paper gold and silver, physical gold and silver, because at this point in the history of the U.S., I don't know if outside of when the Great Depression and Wall Street fell, if there's been a more perilous time for your average everyday American who banks with the major banks. They don't have it, and it's not really insured, even though they tout they have this FDIC insurance. If you can imagine one of these banks getting hit by a North Korean or Chinese or Russian hack, and they get wiped out. Well, like say let's just say, God forbid, that is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has way more than $40 billion worth of deposits, and just that hack alone would completely wipe out FDIC. And they have probably over $1 trillion worth of deposited assets. And all these numbers I'm throwing out there, you guys can easily find on Google. This isn't something I'm just coming up with. These are readily attainable numbers that the government actually provides you. So it's that's the reason why I think people should own physical gold and silver more than any right now. It's the only way to really protect your money. Now, the thing is, you got to have a secure place to store it, right? And you can't tell people about it. You just got to have it and put it someplace and store it there. So I'm not saying run out to your bank and cash everything into silver or gold if you don't have a secure place to store it, because if you had a personal loss or a theft, then you're just out, right? Because most insurance companies aren't going to cover it. So it's just really something that the message, I guess, is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Really keep everything diversified as much as you can. I'm a non-believer of paper right now. I own very little of it, but I'm a big believer in land. I'm a big believer in physical metals, and a big believer in cash. So it's like actual cash spending money. So if those are my thoughts on this scenario right now with what's going on with the gold and silver and the banking industry, in the sense that, well, why aren't they talking about this, Ron? Well, because they don't want what's happening in Europe and in Asia right now, where they have lines out the store at the ATM machine, where people are trying to withdraw money and they're just not getting it, because they don't want that situation to happen here. But if things continue along the road that it's going on now, that's exactly what's going to happen here. So I would just caution everyone, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and think about this situation and prepare yourself and your family the best way that you can. I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but this is something that is really happening. We see it on the front lines because we're a cash business, and we see what people are actually able to obtain from their own banks that they're a customer in the way of cash. So if you want to withdraw cash, do you think you should really have to wait 10 days to withdraw $5,000? No, I don't think so, but that's kind of the way it's going, and that situation is probably not going to get any better. But those are just my thoughts on it. I thought I'd throw that out there because I'm asked questions like this every single day, and I thought I would provide what insight I have into it. And if you have any comments or suggestions or thoughts on the matter, please leave them in the comment section here. If you have any further suggestions about videos you would like us to do here at the shop, please do. We try to answer or reply to those suggestions and make these videos. That's what spawned this one. And keep subscribing, hitting that subscribe and like button at the corner of our screen. And we're giving away, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Check out the video that's pinned at the top of our channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to do a drawing with everyone who's commented on that video to give away a free MS-70 Silver Panda. So again, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop us a line, stop in. Always happy to help. We're always buying and selling anything gold, silver, or platinum. And we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're located at 5324 Spring Hill Drive in sunny Spring Hill, Florida. And guys, like I said in the video, we do accept payment via cash, wire, or we do accept Zelle transfers at this point. We do not accept any kind of checks. We do not accept credit cards or debit cards, and we do not accept cryptocurrency. If there's anything we do for you, stop on in or give us a call. I'm Brian at Vermillion Enterprises, 5324 Spring Hill Drive. Thank you.